Welcome to the Lawson and Gift podcast. Make sure to hit that like button, share the videos, and subscribe. We're on to week 7 over-under picks, and our money pick came through, and we were called stupid again. And we were told that the money was put on Denver by the people, but
and Gift, I enjoyed that one. When Mahomes got out, I got a little bit worried. Of course, you have to get worried, but we have to remember Denver is a pretty poor football team, and that offense is pretty bad. And Garrett Bowles, for instance, their left tackle, can't block anyone.
Yeah.
So luckily that came through, even with Mahomes out. But I'm not understanding why people were betting Denver. And I saw some computer thing for CBS Sportsline spits out picks, and they're like, pick Denver. And that's one reason why I hate computers.
Yeah, you got to take everything into account. They just look at stats, and that's how they come up with their picks. But yeah, I mean, we were right about that. The Kansas City Chiefs are a far better football team than the Broncos, and Frank Clark had a big game because of what you just mentioned with Bowles. Andy Reid dialed up some plays even with Mahomes out. And this is what happens. Don't bet against us especially when you say it's a money pick, and I agree. Come on.
Yeah, and people are tearing us up for a bad record last week, but also you have to remember, do you think I bet all these games?
Well, exactly.
And I told you guys last week, I didn't like last week. I told you to lay off. I know some of you are degenerates. You have to bet 6, 7, 8 games a weekend. I don't. I can sit back and put 1 or 2 on soccer and maybe do a 3-team parlay and not bet a lot of money.
Yeah, and last week, I only picked 5 right, but I actually won all my bets. That's the difference.
That's the whole point. I mean, and there's no reason to be betting more than 3 a weekend. I don't care if you have 6 money picks. Don't bet more than 3 a weekend.
Yeah, I agree. And with that, let's get to these over-unders. Arizona at the Giants, a big 50.5.
Yeah, I'm going under. I think the weather's going to be a factor. I heard it's going to be windy. I saw that baseball game last night. That was extremely windy. I'm wearing a jacket in the house. It's so cold, okay? So Arizona's going to have problems here. I'm going under. There's nothing for me to say that Kyle Murray gets it going even against a weak Giants defense. And I have to say, this is probably a money pick. It's hard for me to bet the Giants, but Daniel Jones is playing good. I'm not saying the unders and money pick by any means. I don't like betting over unders, but I am probably going to bet the Giants in this, just to let everyone know.
Yeah, I really like the under in this too, and it's really from an Arizona side. I can't see them traveling to the Giants, and I can't see them putting up a lot of points. They would have to get probably, 24 points in this game to make this go over.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that happening.
And isn't the Giants limit 24, 27 points, even if Saquon is humming?
Well, yeah, and I think you got to take into account that New England game a little bit. I know this, you got to play it week by week and look at the big picture, but the Giants defense did okay against Brady. That has to mean something. I think that they can neutralize Arizona. Plus Saquon's back, so they'll be handing it to him a lot, killing a lot of time. So with that, let's move on to Houston at Indy, the over-under 47.
I'm going under here because I picked Indy to win, and the only way they win is if this goes under. They need a slow-paced football game. They need to run the rock. They need time of possession. I'm going under.
This is tough for me, but I'm going over. And I think they're both going to score in the 20s. I think it's going to get close to 47. I think it just goes over. But I do agree with you, though, because the only way Houston's going to be scoring points is if they air it out, and Indy is not going to want that. So with that, let's move on to Miami at Buffalo, the over-under 41.
Oh, I'm going over. I mean, Fitzpatrick is coming back into Buffalo. This Miami offense is going to have some verb. It's going to have some energy. And eventually this Bills offense has to get going. I mean, that's one of the things about this Bills season so far that I haven't liked. The offense really hasn't gotten going. I know this one looks like a pure money pick because of the way the Buffalo defense has been playing. But when you factor in Miami's defense being terrible, when you factor in Fitzpatrick coming back to Buffalo, it pushes it over for me.
Again, another tough one because it's kind of low, but I'm going under in this. I think the Bills' defense does their job, but this Bills' offense, I mean, yeah, you want to believe that it can get going. Miami's the worst team in football, but I don't really see them getting into 30. I see them scoring maybe 24, holding Miami to 13, and I think it goes under. And with that, we'll move to Minnesota at Detroit, the over-under 44.
I'm going over, man, because Minnesota's defense has big phases of games where they don't cover anyone and they're not near anyone. We've seen Chase Daniels. Remember how everyone got so excited about Chase Daniels when he came in against Minnesota? That's why I'm going over. I'm not saying like, oh, well, Minnesota's going to come in here and get whooped and Matt Stafford's going to look like Calvin Johnson era Matt Stafford. But there is going to be points in this game, and Kirk Cousins is going to have to put up points. And I feel like this Detroit secondary is more vulnerable than people think. Over.
I'm going under in this game. From a Minnesota perspective, that's where I'm a little bit iffy. Are they going to be able to get that offense going? They were able to do that against Philly, but that secondary was whittled down to nothing. I got to believe Detroit's defense is going to be a little bit stout against the run and force Cousins.
But you still picked Philly even though you knew their secondary was whittled down and they didn't even come close to winning.
I thought the pass rush would get to Cousins.
The pass rush wasn't there. I mean, there's nothing. It was like when the Vikings play like Miami.
Yeah, Cousins was able to sit back there. I just don't think that's going to happen in this game. And with that, we'll move to Oakland at Green Bay, the over-under 47.
This one's really tough. I actually, when I was doing my calculations, it was coming right to that push number. I'm going to go over, though, because I think Oakland's offense has a say here. Really nervous about some of their wide receivers, but I think their run game gets going, and I think Aaron the Game Rodgers does some things.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it, too. I got it going over, and it's really a matter of how potent Oakland's run game is going to be, because from what it looks like, there's a chance that it could be really, really dominant from what it looks like with that monster O-line. And even with subpar receivers, if your run game is that good, it'll open up some things. So I think Oakland can score some points. And then I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers is going to have a decent day against that Oakland defense. So with that, we'll move to Jacksonville at Cincinnati, the over-under 44.5.
It seems like every Jacksonville game finds a way to go over, but I'm going under here. Not a lot of science. I just think they're going to run the football, control clock. I don't know how much Cincinnati gets going, although Jacksonville's defense has been vulnerable.
They have been vulnerable, but Cincinnati is one of the worst teams in football. I have to go under, and for that reason alone, how much is Cincinnati going to be able to do against this defense? And Minshew has been underwhelming, too. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points from Jacksonville either.
But if he's going to be the next Tom Brady.
Sure. We'll see about that. I know the Jags fans would like that, but the way things are going right now in Jacksonville, not too good. And with that, we'll move to the Rams versus Atlanta, the over-under 54.5.
Don't you have to go under because of the way the Rams offense is playing?
Yeah.
And with the way the Falcons turn over the ball, I understand that might create some easy opportunities, but that might also take off some points on the board. Also, I got to get on here. I have to change the pick to this game. I have to pick Atlanta to win in the cover.
Wow.
I just watched that San Fran game last night, and it was dreadful. I know no one watched it because they only had on one game on at 4 o'clock, so the whole country had to go watch the Cowboys. I mean, I could have got some energy and put it on the Xbox or whatnot, but I have to change the pick, man, because the Rams' offense was so treacherous that I don't even know if Atlanta's shitty defense will be comforting to them.
Well, yeah, I guess I just have to disagree because Atlanta has been so poor. And the Rams, I think that they're going to be able to run the football in a game like this because of how Atlanta's been playing. Plus, I got to believe that this Ramsey trade is going to provide some spark defensively.
It has to. It's a tough game, man. It's a tough game. I came on here and I said Rams money pick, I think. Or I said I'm hinting towards a money pick, so I had to correct it.
And I have to go with the under, too. I got to believe the Rams defense is going to play well in this game. And also, like you said, the Rams have been underwhelming offensively. And with that, we'll move to the 49ers at the Redskins over under 41.
Come on. I'm going over. But with the way this San Fran defense is playing, I can understand why someone would want to go under. Please don't bet this. Please.
It's for me, the way I thought about the score, it's right at that 41 mark because I almost picture that score being 30-10 or 31-10.
Then just stay the hell away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going under, but yeah, I would stay away from this game definitely. And with that, we'll move to the Chargers at Tennessee, the over-under 40.5.
Geff, I actually think this surprisingly goes over. It has all the makings for an under, but I do think this game comes down in the fourth quarter. I do think 17 to 20 points are going to be scored in this fourth quarter. It goes over. If you pick under in this, yeah, at the end of the first half, I think it's going to be looking good. But literally, this is going to be two teams clawing for whatever life they have left. Over.
I have to go under in this game, and from a Chargers perspective, what are they going to do? I mean, they're going into Tennessee. The Tennessee defense is pretty good. The Chargers would have to turn everything around. Is Rivers going to play well? Are they going to get the run game going? I just don't believe in the Chargers right now. I think Tennessee can slowly get some points in this game, but I don't expect much from the Chargers. And with that, we'll move to the Ravens at Seattle, the over-under 49. And we're going to be hearing Lamar Jackson versus Russell Wilson and in the big picture
and
for the game.
equating him to Russell Wilson, which is rather disgusting with some of the stuff I've seen this year.
Well, then the Mahomes thing, too. It's just, come on.
It is come on. And you like Lamar Jackson. You were like one of the only people who liked him coming out of the draft. You had him rated above like Rosen and two other dudes. I think he was your second or third quarterback. You were like the only one to even like him, and even this is too much for you. I'm going under. Money pick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet over under. Got other meat to pick. Mm-hmm. But if I had to bet an over under, this would be the one this week. It has all the makings, man. I mean, Seattle's offense isn't the most dynamic thing in the world, and we know Baltimore's defense has its troubles, but is this really the explosive unit that can take advantage of Baltimore's troubles? Not really. There's literally only one receiver, and yes, Seattle has a run game, but come on now. I think Brandon Williams will play, so I don't think it's going to be a Browns all over again. And then when you look on the other side of the ball, yes, Seattle's defense is vulnerable, but this Ravens team really hasn't had big plays since like week 3. So.
Yeah. And I'm going under as well. And I think, we can pretty much spot what's probably going to happen in this game. Russell will probably play pretty damn good. And then I think Baltimore, they're going to struggle offensively in this game, especially with Jaron Reed coming back for Seattle. I think that boosts their D-line even more. Baltimore's going to have to try to get the run game going to establish their offense, and I think they're going to have a little bit of a hard time doing that. But I don't see Russell going off in this game either. Like, I see him being good and comfortable enough to get the W, but I don't see it being crazy.
I don't think he has to go gunslinger to win it. That's the whole point. If he needs to go gunslinger, even with the limited targets, he can, but he doesn't.
Yeah, I think Carson gets involved in the run game, and that's the type of game.
And Ravens control the rock a lot, so Russell might not get this ball as much as he's accustomed to.
Absolutely. And with that, let's move to the Saints versus Bears. And, of course, with the Bears games, we see a lot of these. 38.
Over. I mean, 38's too low in the NFL right now. Unless you think like New Orleans wins like 13-6 like last week.
Well,
there has to be some sort of response from Chicago, though. There has to be, right?
It's looking like Trubisky's coming back, if that makes us feel any
and that's a downgrade. And I got to say this. Every time I turn on TV, people try to make casual fans feel stupid for thinking Chase Daniels is just a wee bit better than Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky isn't any upgrade. If anything, it's like equal for equal. Mitch Trubisky can run a little bit more, but I'm going over here. This Chicago defense, I know it's like ranked like third in pass defense, like third against the run. I know like it's top 5 all over the board, but it's not the same as it was last year. Let's be realistic. Come on.
Well, no, Pagano's a downgrade, and you can run on them.
You can.
Raiders proved that already. Saints love to run the football. Even if Kamara is out, they still got Murray who can run the rock. That offensive line's really good for New Orleans. But I have to go under because the Bears offensively. I'm at that point now with them where I cannot trust their offense at all. Matt Nagy and his play calling, it doesn't matter how good it is because of the quarterback situation.
It's one of the worst offenses in the league, and no one really wants to say it. It's a great defense with a really, really bad offense. Really bad offense. Like, man, if they weren't put in such good situations, they'd probably be 32nd, 31st offense in the league if you just took away, like, the situations they get in because of the defense.
Yeah, and what Khalil Mack brings, you're right. And in field position, it's just, with the Bears, it's confusing because you have weapons. Obviously, well, it's not really that confusing because the quarterback situation's so bad, but it's not like they don't have different weapons to use. You know, they have Allen Robinson on the outside. They have a decent tight end in Burton. And I'm just shocked that Tyreek Cohen hasn't been getting involved.
That's the main key. He hasn't.
And with that, let's move to the Eagles at Dallas, the over-under 49.
I'm going over, but serious questions about this. I see you're kind of on like a under tip this week, so I'm sure you're going to go under.
Yeah.
But for me, this comes down to the fourth quarter. I think there's points. But then again, can you count on Dak Prescott to put over 24 points in a competitive game? I'm not, but I'm going over here because I think Philly explodes.
Yeah, I have to go under because of Dak Prescott. Really no other way to put it. I mean, obviously if Dallas had a quarterback that could throw a little bit, I would go over. But that's really the reason why I got to go under. But the Eagles, there's some things that they got to do, man, including that defensive line. They got to start playing up to expectations.
That's why I think there's going to be points because I don't think this defense will be fixed yet. Right now, I don't see it being fixed, and see Wentz having a gunsling to win this, and I think he's more than capable of out gunslinging Dak.
And also if Dallas can get the play action going, then that does negate how bad Dak is because they'll have guys open.
Yeah, if they can run it. If.
And we'll wrap it up with Patriots at the Jets, over under 44.
You go first.
I have to go under. I feel like, you know, New England, they have some struggles right now. They're going to definitely get this W, but I could see it being 24-14 along those lines. But I have to go under in this game because of the Patriots' struggles. And the Jets, I don't think they're going to get a ton going in this game. I think they'll keep it close for a little while, but ultimately Brady pulls ahead.
Yeah, I'm going under by a smidge as well. But I do wonder what the Sammy Darnold thing is going to bring. And I do want to test it a little bit. Because, I know it's really good. I know the secondary is really good. But I'm not buying into this being the best defense in football. Can I just say that?
Aside from maybe Buffalo, and even that's iffy at this point to say they're a really good team, they haven't played anybody. They have.
They have, and listen, you play Buffalo, and Buffalo's got a bottom five offense. No offense, Giff, but it is a bottom five. I mean, there's so many bad teams, though. Like
a lot of bad teams.
I mean, so maybe it's not a bottom five offense. I mean, but
it's a bottom five passing attack. I definitely know that.
Yeah. So I'm going under here. It's just I want to see this New England defense test it a little bit, and maybe Sam Darnold can test it and break this over. I'm curious to see this game.
All right, with that, make sure to hit that like button, share the videos, and subscribe.